All right, next up, Prora. Another wonder that is amazing. This is the autocracy ideology wonder. You have to have autocracy built. You have to have autocracy as your ideology before you can build Prora. You have to build Prora in a city that's on the coast. You can't build it on a city on freshwater or a lake or something. It has to be on the coast. It can't have no coastal access to build it. It gives you +2 happiness and +1 happiness for every 2 policies that you have. So on average, this is probably like, I don't know, 8 or 9 or 10 maybe happiness. Again, it's a little bit later in the game than Notre Dame, so it's not quite as good on the happiness front. It's a lot of hammers. It requires flight to be researched, but it also provides a free social policy. And that combination of happiness and free social policy as autocracy is really, really, really good. Autocracy is a military-oriented ideology. You almost always end up going to war in the late eras, you almost always end up going to war in the late eras anyways, period, full stop. But as autocracy, you are specializing in going to war in the late eras. And happiness is going to be extremely valuable in terms of conquering cities and not receiving combat penalties. Prora is an excellent wonder for the large boost of happiness it gives you. That large boost of happiness allows you to do things like not take happiness tenets from the autocracy ideology, which is really, really, really nice because there's a lot of very strong military tenets available in autocracy, and Prora basically allows you some buffer for your happiness, so you're not initially required to pick those tenets up if you don't want to, and it also provides a free social policy, which is a very, very nice thing, especially at this time in the game. Free social policies in around the industrial and modern era are very important. These are going to be when you're when you're finishing up rationalism and you're just starting to get the critical tenets of your ideologies. Something like the first T2 tenet in ideologies, or sometimes the second T2 tenet in ideologies, finishing rationalism, things like that, finishing that the third point in commerce for purchasing. Tenets that arrive in this period of the game are extremely, extremely beneficial. And Prora is right where you need them to do that, as well as providing other bonuses. Downsides, of course, are it takes a lot of hammers to produce Prora. You're almost always going to engineer Prora, but even when you're engineering Prora, the hammer yield that an engineer gives you is based on the population of your city. So if you have a non-capital coastal city, it likely will take an engineer and 4 or 5 turns, 3 or 4 turns of production to actually finish Prora. So it does have quite a long build time in reality for those bonuses, but those bonuses are very, very strong. If you have the ability to get Prora in a reasonable amount of time, it's pretty much, again, no downside to doing that. It's a no-brainer. Of course you want that. It has incredible bonuses for your civilization.